And welcome back, McLean County, to another edition of the McLean County Sports Network. Here today, we're seeing the 8-1 McLean County Cougars play the 3-6 Hancock Hornets. Andrew, you got the starting lineups for us?
Not yet.
All right, we'll give him a second to work on that. As we have a special guest today, Kennedy Level. Kennedy, how are you feeling today?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Could be better here. Here in McLean County, watching a great team play another, great team. All right, Kennedy. We have some questions we're going to ask you today. Just kind of get a little more insight on this girls' team.
All right.
How do you feel like the season's going right now?
Overall, I feel like we could be doing a little bit better, but we lost Miller, which was hard for us because she's our only senior and our leader. But we've had people step up, and we have more people continuing to step up, so that's been nice.
That's always good to see where you have people that want to step up, people that want to be the leader, and I feel like there is a lot of young potential on that team to where you could have multiple leaders, to where you don't have to rely on the one. But, yeah, definitely losing Sarah is a big miss there. She put up 28 points in 2 games, averaging which that would be around 14 points a game. So, a lot of people are like, well, 14 points a game, that's not a lot, But, sometimes when you're in a close game, 14 points could be the dagger to where you could win.
Yep.
So we go. Hancock's got the ball, gonna pass it to the wing. Nice defense there by what I believe to be Zane Decker. Zane's going to get it.
Oh.
We'll call it walk there on Zane. Zane coming out early. He put up a tough bucket to get our first points on the board. So I guess one of the bigger storylines here today is going to be that Brody Klein is not in the starting lineup. And I don't think he's going to play at all today with him being on vacation. So, if anything, I think this is probably one of the better situations to put the Cougars in here. You're 8-1, non-district game here, and you're playing without one of your 2 superstars. I think this will definitely get us into a state where we're going to look for somebody else to really step up as that number 3, because if you look at the stats, I believe it is Gunner puts up around 21, 22 points a game, and Brody puts around 16.8 points per game. And the next leading scorer is Zane Decker with 6.6. So you definitely want to try to find a third main scorer there because, like I said, today is like a simulation for us. Brody goes out. That's 16 points on average going out the window. We're going to have to fill that in somewhere.
All right, and now for your starting lineups. We have, for the McLean County Cougars, Jax Lee at the 1, Camden Baird at the 2, Jalen Groves at the 3, Zane Decker at the 4, and Gunnar Revlett at the 5. And then for Hancock, we got Dylan Morris at the 1, Jackson Schultz at the 2, Camden Lucas at the 3, Deck Luco at the 4, and Alex Madden at the 5. And just looking at this, looks like a pretty even matchup from the heights perspective. But the Cougars are 8-1, while the Hornets are 3-6.
So if we're just going off records here, the Cougars should blow this team out of the water. Like we said, the Cougars just coming off a nice trip to Louisville, where they go 3-0 and win the tournament.
Yeah, that one loss coming to Muhlenberg with a close game for that one.
Close game. We talked to Landon French. We talked to Zane Decker. They said the small mistakes will add up in the long run, and I think that's probably one of the biggest things that you can ever, that really kind of a small mistake can turn into a big mistake really quick, and I think that's what happened there in the late 2 minutes there. And we missed a couple of 3-pointers, missed a couple of free throws, and that put us in a deficit we couldn't get out of. But like we said, Zane's a great competitor, and he said we want to see him again. And the next time we'll see him again will be here in McLean County. A little miscommunication pass there, go out of bounds.
So, Kennedy, just to spark some conversation, what has been some of your favorite moments of the season so far?
Probably beating Muhlenberg County has probably been one of the top ones.
Yeah, everyone's just so excited.
Yeah, we went in with no hope in us. nobody thought we were going to pull it out, and we did. So it was really nice to do that.
So, despite the losing record, you do have I believe we're winning the district right now.
We do. Muhlenberg County's currently 1-1. Ohio County's 0-1, and we're 1-0.
So, I mean, we'll take it there. We'll host a playoff game. Just got to keep the district wins going.
Now we got Baird with the ball, just passing it. They're just passing around the perimeter, just
Trying to find
trying
an
to
open
find.
guy.
Yeah,
French was right there. He's wide open, but Bear just barely, didn't look back.
yeah. Gunner
Missed
pulled
it.
up from 3 and could not knock it down.
No shot clocks. We could be here for the rest of the first quarter if they really wanted to.
Cougars, I believe, coming out in a press defense already. We saw this in the middle school game, and it worked very well. Let's see if it can translate to high school.
So that's the big thing, especially in any sport you play, you want to come out and set the tone. Whether you're on offense, defense, you show up and you make sure the other team reacts to how you're acting. Don't react to how they act.
Yeah, like you say all the time, Nathan, act, don't react.
That's if you live by that in sports, it's hard to lose. Like I said right there, you saw Zane trying to get in that passing lane. Always trying to be a little aggressive on defense. Being aggressive on defense is like a double-edged sword, like we just saw there with Baird. I mean, you can get the steal, but if you miss the steal, then you allow an open shot, an open passing lane. Open points really. Andrew, you mentioned the 8th grade game. Now with the 8th grade season being over and them coming up, Kennedy, how do you feel like they're helping out the team?
I think they're helping out very well, especially Anna Miller. It's nice to have somebody who can come in and be a sub, but also a really huge impact on the team.
Like we saw last night, she did generate some nice points off the bench there. In that 8th grade game, she did play a big factor. One of the big storylines me and Andrew were talking about last night is how she would have to go from playing in an 8th grade environment to now playing in a 11th grade, 12th grade varsity environment. How do you feel like she's handled that?
I feel like overall she's handled it very well. She's came in ready to go. She knows the difference, but she had some varsity experience last year, so she knows what she's coming into. But I think that she's handled it very well.
It's good to hear, such a young person handling such, great pressure very well. It says a lot about her character. With her getting, varsity time last year, kind of preparing her for this year, and overall it's going to prepare her for the official start of her high school career, which will be next year. She'll be a 9th grader.
Yeah, something we touched on a lot yesterday is by the time Anna's a senior, she'll have 6 years of varsity experience, which if you have 6 years experience of anything, you're going to be one heck of a leader and just be very wise at the position and at the sport.
And she already shows great shades of how Sarah, her ability to score the ball. I can definitely see that in Anna. Maybe Anna could be possibly one of the better girls we see come out of McLean County.
One thing Coach Groves harped on in our interview with him is after Sarah went down, we had lack of a leader. We just had lack of a leader, so we were really looking for anyone to step up. And I think, Kennedy, you and Larkin and every other girl who's starting really has stepped up to the plate, just filling in that lone senior spot, that senior you're missing.
Yep.
Another big storyline that I always kind of look into when I see the starting lineup is the guard duo. You know, the Level and Larkin duo. Can you give us a little bit of insight on how that chemistry is?
Well, I love playing with Larkin. I think she's so fun to play with. She is very great defensively, and offensively she's smart, but she doesn't look for a shot too much. And we're trying to get her there to where she wants to score more often, but defensively she is a really well player.
Because, you know, we look at the boys' team, we see Gunnar and Brody. I feel like we look at the girls' team, and then we see you and Larkin. I think you guys are the two superstars of that team. And I think you guys are probably the better scorers on that team as well. I mean, do you look at Katie McCoy? She can score the ball, like, especially the three ball, pretty good as well.
Yeah, I looked at it last night. Katie was your leading scorer. Can't remember exactly how much, but she was leading, which I was kind of shocked by. I did not think, not trying to diss Katie McCoy or anything, but I did not expect her to be the leading scorer.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, in that Muhlenberg game, she showed up, in overtime, really, and in the fourth quarter, definitely showed up with some crucial three-pointers, which is always good to have, you know what I'm saying, from a leader on that team. I believe she is a junior.
All right, checking the updated scoring. Kennedy, you actually lead the team with 46 total points. Now Katie is behind 3 with 43 points.
Overall, that's good to see. Like, you don't really have a player that's, you know, beating everyone out by like 20. That just resembles a lot of team ball there. A lot of, you know, looking for each other in, you know, shots, assists, you know, finding the open man there. You know, it's just overall good basketball to see. As we are in this timeout, we're going to come out of it here. But the Hancock coach looks pretty disappointed in his team. Could be coaching him up. Looks like it'll be Revlett, Baird, Groves, and Decker out there with Floyd. Which Floyd just seems to be such a common name whenever you're calling basketball in McLean County. Last year we had Jackson, which was a great senior leader there for that senior class. And now you have Braxton Floyd out there, which definitely shows great shades of his brother. And then Carly Floyd, again, another, I believe, a 7th grader coming up for varsity time in last night's game. Looks like we're going to have Jaxley going to sub in whenever there's some stoppage.
So we got, like usual, Zane and Gunnar on the court, and actually they're two of the 3 leading scorers in points per game here. Gunnar got 21.5 per game. Then Zane with 6.6 per game. Then, of course, that second spot is none other than lone senior Brody Klein, who is missing today, but we'll be back.
You know, I really think that's the key factor on why this game is so close right now. You know, we're losing that. I wouldn't say we're losing the leadership, but we're definitely losing the player. We're losing the talent on the court. You know, Brody, he's probably definitely a top 2 player on this team. You know, I don't want to get into the talks where I'm, you know, saying Brody's better than Gunnar or Gunner's better than Brody. they're on the same team. They're here to win. But, you know, when you have a player of that caliber missing, you know, you're definitely going to be missing some points, missing some assists, missing some open looks there. But, you know, that's what I said. We got to find a solid third player, a solid third scorer on this team. I think that's been the big storyline from day one. Which I mean, you could debate the other storyline of this team was who's going to be the leader. You know, with losing like almost 6 seniors last year. You know, so we had Evan, we had Will, we had Noah, Declan,
Jackson,
and Cruz.
Yeah,
Had 6 right there. I mean, that was a
big senior class. And now with this senior class, it's like the team's not losing much. We're losing our key player, but we're still retaining majority of the team. Only losing one, but who knows, that one could play a huge factor. Just like how Brody's not here today, that means
this is the team we'll have next year. So, you know, it kind of gives you a little sneak peek, a little preview of it. It's not looking too bad.
So, speaking from experience here, Kennedy, how important is it to have that senior on the court to be able to guide you and just lead the team?
Especially for like us, I know these boys aren't as young as we are, but most of us are pretty young out there on the girls' team. So having that senior is nice to have somebody who has that varsity experience. Like last year, if we would have lost our seniors, we would have been a little bit in trouble because we didn't have any varsity experience and we were all very young and inexperienced. So having that senior out there knowing what they're doing and knowing what to do is really helpful.
Yeah, you really need to have knowledge of the game to win games. So having that senior with all the knowledge and experience that they have, it's like it helps more than you realize.
You know, just a simple like high five or, you know, just a, you know, it's all right goes a big way in a game, especially when it comes from the leader on the team.
But speaking of that senior for the girls team, Sarah Miller, I was talking to her earlier, I believe last week, and she said, if I'm not on the court, I want Anna on the court. I don't know if she means like right now or when she's back. If she's starting, she wants Anna on the bench. But she talks highly of her little sister, and that's a lot when she's just in middle school. So just touching on the subject again, just Kennedy, how important do you think those middle schoolers are just to add like depth to the team so not everyone's not like insanely like gassed after one play because they're constantly in the game? Now you got a lot more depth on the team. How important are those middle schoolers?
It's actually really great, especially like I said earlier with like having Anna up. I think it was Hop Central, I believe. I think me and Sarah Larkin both played the entire game because we didn't have enough guard subs. Or Sarah Larkin was in foul trouble, I believe is what it was. So I played the entire game until I ended up fouling out. So it's nice to have Anna here to have a break and know that she's going to go in and still be able to lead the team and do what she's supposed to do even as a middle schooler.
Yeah, having depth really, like, you may not realize it, but it goes a long way when playing any sport. Something I noticed from our middle school football team, we didn't have that many players, and that might be the reason why we were not successful because we had everyone playing both ways all game. So substitutions are a necessity because you do not want to have the same people playing the entire game, or else if you're exhausted, you're not going to play as good as you are at the beginning of the game.
That's something that I really preach on this boys team here is the amount of depth we have, the amount of ability we have to take a hit like losing Brody, and be able to bounce back.
Like, I can see majority of those boys down there getting varsity time. It's really a toss-up every day for a few of them, who will start and who will not. And that's a good problem to have.
It's not a question of if they're playing badly or not, but it's a question of who is playing good and who's playing great.
Very close ball game here. Your score currently is McLean County 18, Hancock 22, with just over 3 minutes left in the first half. Jaxley tries to pass it to, I believe.
I think it was French down on the post.
Yeah,
there.
French, and it bounces off the foot of number 5. Number 5, that's Dylan Morris on Hancock. So, since your Cougars are down, you really, like, from my personal standpoint, I think you have to get it out to your leading scorer, Gunnar Revlett.
Yeah, but he's had his own battle there with number 25 on the defensive side of the ball. Right there, that's number 12. That's Layden Bozart. That's the guy that I have been saying that, yes, he plays JV, but he can play varsity too. That is a guy that I think I'm willing to bet on 9 times out of 10.
I haven't seen much of Layden this year at home games, but I saw when they went to Louisville that he got all-tournament team or something like that up there.
He is definitely a great player, but he's overshadowed by that amount of talent in that sophomore class. Most of the time he's the guy that kind of gets shut out of playing time, but he's just as able as the next guy.
Yeah, it's such a close battle that, like, Layden could go from JV to varsity just like that, because it's really anybody's battle.
Everybody, they kind of hate on JV. We streamed that JV game against who was it against? We streamed a JV game. I know that. I think it was against Apollo. Yeah, it was against Apollo because me and Coach John did that game. But we did that. We saw a lot of Layden there. We saw Zane Decker in that JV game, a guy that starts varsity most of the time. But JV is just a way to kind of get those players ready for the big leagues, ready for the varsity time. Kennedy, can we get some insight on how you went from JV to varsity? How that transition was?
I played JV my 8th grade year after my middle school season and a little bit my freshman year. But since we lost all those girls at the beginning of my freshman year for varsity and I started playing varsity, he didn't really let me play JV anymore. So I never really got the full experience of a JV into varsity.
Nice steal there by Baird.
Shoot.
So you were basically thrown to the wolves when it came to varsity experience. Well, JV experience going into varsity. It was basically do or die in that moment. You have to get out there and try your best.
Yeah, I kind of wish I would have played a little more JV. I think I could have used it a little bit last year to help with probably some confidence. I lacked that a lot last year, so that could have helped a lot. And I think it'll help a lot of our girls this year too.
If you had to, ballpark around, what is the average, grade level of our varsity team right now?
Majority are juniors.
Yeah.
And then Kennedy, the sophomore.
and Mallory Hampton, she's a sophomore. I've seen Ring go in several times this year. She's a sophomore.
There's definitely a lot of bright spots on that team. We just got to learn how to bring them together.
Like we said about this team, the girls' team, like the lineup we have currently, is going to be the same lineup we'll have next year, unless we have certain players get moved down to the bench and certain players moved up. But it's the same people nonetheless. As our lone, both teams, the lone senior is out.
Off topic here, but number 25 just seems to have a great post presence in the way he can move the ball down low. I think that's given Gunner, I think, probably one of his biggest battles all year.
Yeah, he's really given Gunner a run for his money as that physical player.
Cougars are up 4 here. There you go. I mean, his presence is great.
One thing that shocked me last night, Kennedy, was I saw the starting lineup. It had 3 guards and then 2 forwards with Ava and Danielle. But y'all started like basically playing through your bigs with the pick and roll. I did not expect that from 3 guards on the court. I expected y'all to just have a shootout.
Yeah,
But-
we really haven't played like that much this year. We didn't at all last year, but at Muhlenberg County, we did towards the second half. We saw that it was open for us, and it was working. And since Davis County wasn't really switching off their screens, we felt it would work better.
Which coaching, adjustments always make games easier to win. Sometimes when you're on the floor, you don't see something that your coach sees happen on the other side of the floor. It's just a big help overall. Gonna miss the buzzer beater there. We're gonna go into halftime up 4. Gunner's playing a big role in that scoring. I think we're still on the search for that third main scorer though. But as the McLean County Sports Network, we're gonna step away for this halftime, and then we'll be right back as the third quarter starts.
And when we come back, I believe Kennedy will be gone. So thank you for being with us, Kennedy.
Thank you.
And welcome back, McLean County, to the beginning of the third quarter. Here, McLean County is up by 4 with about, 8 minutes left to go in the third quarter.
And we're welcoming a special guest, Rachel Ring of the McLean County Lady Cougars girls basketball team. Rachel, how are you doing today?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
And just to start off conversation,
Whoa.
you had your lone senior, Sarah Miller, go down, and that affected the team drastically. So how difficult has it been, and how helpful has it been to have some of these younger girls step up to the plate to fill the leadership role?
I think it has helped a lot. Anna Miller has came up, and she's helped a lot. That's Sarah's younger sister, and she's really helping. And then having some of the younger ones, especially Carly Floyd, coming up on JV and being one of our point guards, they're really helping a lot for us, and just getting some more people on the bench. And we just need some support too, so they really help with that.
A little off topic here, but just showing just how monumental Gunner is. 4 people went up to block that shot on the left side.
And something me and Nathan were talking about over halftime is, Rachel, your brothers used to commentate for the Sports Network. So how does it feel to have all the siblings commentate at least one game?
I think it's pretty cool to see the generation go through. I know Aaron really liked doing it, and he did it for a minute, and so it's kind of fun to step in their position and do it too.
Some nice passing here by Hancock. Ken's going to shoot it. Too much sauce on it. Rebel's going to pass to Lee. Lee with a nice layup.
Extending this game to 8-point lead, McLean County.
You know, Jax Lee with the three-pointer there, but he's really a three-point shooter. Or with the layup there, misspoke there. But he's normally a three-point shooter, shooting about 30% from the three-point line, which is top 3 on the team. The only one above him is Gunnar Revlett with 36.4% from 3.
Yeah, Gunnar really leads the team in majority of the stats, just showing how important Gunnar is to this team. Really just came out as the greatest player, in my opinion, for this team since last year. Really stepped up to play alongside Evan Ward as the 2 big men, and now it's Gunnar and Zane as the 2 big men. Really just a lethal duo in the paint.
Definitely a lot of chemistry between this team with playing together for so long.
Speaking of chemistry, Rachel, how do you think just knowing your fellow teammates help out in the game? You just have that chemistry between each other, so y'all really trust each other to make those shots. How does that help?
I just think we've done a lot of things. We had a lot of practices over the off season, and we all are like a family. We always do family on 3. We always trust each other. We did some team bonding things. We went bowling and went out to eat. And I feel like one of the main things is we went to Louisville last year as a team, and I feel like that really helped. You could tell afterwards that we really were more like a team, and I feel like we're more like family than a team. We all really love each other.
Yeah, you really need that strong bond to be able to play well together, because you're not going to pass the ball to somebody who you think will not make it. You're going to try to get it out to whoever you feel confident in. But I can tell on the court y'all have that strong bond, and y'all trust each other to make the shots y'all put up. And team bonding is really one of the most important things when it comes to the game of basketball, because it's not a player sport, it's a team sport.
And especially when it comes down to the fourth quarter, a lot of people call it the chemistry quarter. You got to know, where people are going to be, how comfortable they are at certain shots. Just the ability to trust, and that's a big factor in really any sport. I know, Rachel, you really emphasize on the being a family, being there for each other on and off the court. The biggest sport you think about family is football. You got 10 other guys on the field with you. It's really a big thing there.
And I think that chemistry was very evident in that Muhlenberg County game, as it was a close game throughout all 4 quarters. And then in that fourth quarter, y'all really just came together and decided, let's win this one. And that was right after, I believe, Sarah, I think it was tore her ACL, I think.
Yes.
It was just really evident that y'all had that bond as y'all were able to come through and just seal the game for y'all. And you mentioned that Anna is coming up to help with varsity, and with her being a middle schooler, how helpful do you think the middle schoolers are with adding depth to every position?
I think it really helps a lot. We really do need Anna, and I don't even know if she realizes how much we do need her, especially with her sister gone. She is really helping us, and then even some of the younger middle schoolers have really helped just getting more bench numbers and even playing. We had a lot of girls come in yesterday and play JV for us when we had to go change for varsity, and we do enjoy them coming up. They might think we're being a little hard on them, but we do it, and it really helps having some more numbers and some more people helping.
We definitely talked to Kennedy about how Anna's handling in the 8th grader environment, going up into now you're playing in 11th, 12th grade, that varsity environment. Kennedy saying that Anna's handling it very well, very maturely, and that gives me hope for the team, especially with her handling that great. That shows a lot about her character, a lot about her leadership. Especially with her sister being the only senior. You can only hope that maybe she's getting a little extra than everybody else is getting. From that senior. She lives with Sarah, so there's definitely some more connection there. So, and then Andrew, me and you were talking last night about how she's probably going to have 6, maybe 5.5 years of varsity time. So you can only hope that maybe she'll be one of the better girl basketball players to come out of McLean County.
And we talked with Zane during the 8th grade championship about his transition from 8th grade to high school, and he said it was a big change. It's not an easy task to go from middle school to high school, because you go from playing kids who are 12 to 14, and now you're playing kids anywhere from 14 to 18, maybe 19. And then they grow in size, they get stronger, they get smarter. Just the game develops so much in such little time, it feels.
Yeah. Me and all the other girls in our grade had to do that. We went straight from the GRVC tournament, and then the following day we had to go compete varsity. And it is different. We did get a little bit of time each. We did, and it was different, but you can do it, especially Anna. If anyone can do it, Anna can.
Yeah, we saw last year Anna come up to not quite start, but still had a good amount of varsity time. And I was just blown away at how a 7th grader could play that well at varsity. So we have a lot of hope for her. But still, we know she's still in middle school. We don't expect electric plays. But we still know deep down she has that ability to lead the team and just win a game for at any time. And one thing I noticed last game, I talked about it with Kennedy, is y'all's starting lineup for the game, y'all had 3 guards with Larkin, Level, and then McCoy. And then y'all had Lanham and Reynolds as your 2 bigs. And me and Nathan, we were thinking, oh, they're going to come out with the shooting team, since y'all got basically 4 shooters with Larkin, Level, McCoy, and Lanham. But y'all started playing through Lanham and Reynolds as bigs. Y'all set the pick, and y'all really just like played the role with the pick and roll. And it threw me off a little bit.
Yeah. Danielle, she was doing really good yesterday. She put up some big points for us, and she was doing a lot of picks. That's one of the main things I noticed, and so was Ava. They both did really good yesterday as our bigs.
Just a lot of teams rely and score through their big players, as it's the safest option.
Yeah, it's always good you look for the high percentage shots close to the basket for some easy points. You know, if you're in a close game and they leave those open, those are basically free points. Really anytime they're going to be a close game. But, I mean, it's better than taking a cover 3 than just going up for an easy layup.
And Rachel, you mentioned going bowling or going to Louisville. Well, what has been your favorite moment with the team? Not just in the season, but with the team in general.
I would say probably my favorite moment with being with the high school team would probably be going to Louisville. We did a lot of things. We went to different malls. We went out to eat as a team, and then we played Wagner down in Louisville, and it was fun to see how different teams could be in different areas, because we've never played them before. But this season, it would probably be when we did beat Muhlenberg County. That was a really big thing for us, and I think it did boost our confidence a ton. I feel like you could see it in our playing, that our confidence just went up by 110% once we beat Muhlenberg.
Yeah, one thing everybody says nowadays, confidence is key. You got to have confidence to make those shots, those contested shots, and you got to have confidence in your other teammates to just pull through and really come down with anything. And that's one thing I see with the boys team here. They have a lot of confidence. As just from what I noticed, they put up a lot of threes. And Nathan, I believe you have just the 3-point percentage from their top 3.
We have Gunner at 36.4, which the ideal 3-point percentage is around 40%, 40 to 39% there. Jax Lee shooting about 10% under that with 30.8, and Camden Barrett shooting about 30. So I mean, overall for a high school team, I mean we're shooting pretty good. We're shooting better than Hancock County, as Hancock only puts up around 34.7. They have 2 30-point scores, or 30% scores there, so slightly better than them, as we do come out to a 7-point lead, I do believe.
This has been a very low-scoring third quarter, and I'm not 100% sure what the score was going into the half, but I remember it was relatively similar to what the score is currently. Let me just double-check real quick. Yeah, it was 22-26. So the Cougars put up 6, and the Hornets put up 4. That's not a lot in one quarter. We're used to this boys team really having a shootout, with some games going to 50 to 60. And earlier, the first half, it felt like there was a lot more scoring than there was this quarter. So I think Lynham here is trying to just slow the game down, slow the scoring down, just to wind down the game and play the ball, play the ball game very safely.
Because nobody's home free right now. It is definitely still anybody's game right now. as that really showed in the 8th grade championship game where, we thought Muhlenberg had it, but then we thought we had it, and then Muhlenberg puts a 3 down, and it's overtime. It's definitely basketball is definitely a game that can change on a dime anytime.
Nice three there from Braxton Floyd. First points of the quarter. So, Rachel, with your experience in basketball, what do you think the most difficult thing is to get used to just with the sport? The most difficult thing for you as a basketball player?
I think probably the most difficult thing for me is having to do different positions. For most of when I was in Little League and middle school, I was a shooting guard for most of the time, and I would shoot out. But then when I came to middle or high school, and so my 8th grade season, I was the power forward. I was the big girl, and I just feel like having to do different positions, like him telling you that he needs you out there handling the ball, or him telling you that he needs you to get big and be in the paint. I feel like that's kind of difficult, but once you get used to it for doing it, I feel like it gets manageable and you can do it. I know a lot of our girls have to do that. Like Ava does that a lot. Ava Lanham, Mallory has to do that a lot, and Danielle sometimes has to do that. It just depends on who's in and what's going on.
That's something that's really good for a basketball team is to have flexibility and to be able to play different positions.
Yeah, I believe I saw Muhlenberg, at the Muhlenberg County game, Mallory was playing more of a power forward center position, but last night she was playing more of a shooting guard small forward position. So you love to have that flexibility as a basketball player. And that's something we see here as basically Baird comes down to the shooting guard when he's normally the point guard. Jax Lee comes in, and Jalen Groves comes in to fill the shoes of Brody Klein as he's missing today. So basically, Baird shifts down to shooting guard. I believe French goes down to the bench team, and Jax Lee comes up in replacement. So, like we said about flexibility, Baird, though it's not much different going from point guard to shooting guard, it's still a big change no matter what.
You go from being the facilitator to the scorer. So, ooh. So Baird gonna shoot free throws here.
First one falls.
That was the big thing against Muhlenberg is our free throws weren't hitting there towards the end of the game, and we just that's what planted the seed for that deficit.
Last year we saw Brody Klein hit most of his free throws. Now, I don't think we have.
I would say Brody was probably a part of the 50-40-90 club. 50 from the field, 40 from three, and 90 from the free throw line. I would be surprised if you told me it was.
Nathan, who is our leader for free throw percentage?
It is Brody Klein with 71.4. He has kind of had a down year this year, but we don't want to talk down on him too bad because he is while he is shooting about 10% maybe worse than he was last year, he definitely is still one of the top scorers on this McLean County boys team with 16.8 points per game.
And though he's falling short of last year's free throw percentage, I feel like he's gotten better as a big and gotten better as a shooter. So if he falls in one category, he rises in another.
And Brody's not just a basketball player either. He's a football player. They just had the banquet not too long ago. Took home some plaques, some awards, which is always good to hear.
So we got just about 5 minutes left in the game here. Your Cougars are up 37-28. Just a 9-point game here. As I believe they're starting to play keep away. And like you said, Nathan, there's no shot clock, so technically they could just sit here for the rest of the game.
Yeah, we could be here till the final buzzer, but something tells me Coach Lynam's got something cooked up here.
Yeah, Lynam loves to just reset the play with somebody at the top. It used to be Jackson Floyd just sitting at the top, and now I guess it's Braxton Floyd.
Right there.
As an excellent layup there.
Making it 39-28 with about 4 minutes and 15 seconds left to go in the game.
And that's one thing we love about McLean County is you have a lot of siblings who play the same sport. So
you know,
you
last
have
year,
like Braxton and Jackson, and then Carly Floyd. They all play the same position basically.
last year we had the Nacho Libros. I don't know if you remember them. Cruz and
Yeah.
Jax.
And currently we have the Millers and the Larkins. So maybe Rachel can provide a little insight of just how important it is to have that like sisterly duo with Sarah and Anna, and then Sarah and Ella.
Yeah, you can just really tell, especially with the Millers, that they really love each other. They have the connection. The older Sarah Miller is always yelling at the little Miller on the bench, and you can just tell that they care for each other. And that they just really like each other, and they like playing with each other, and they're kind of some form of competition with each other. And it's always fun to watch them practice and just do little tiny fights that are just fun and playful to watch. And then Sarah Larkin and Ella Larkin, they haven't got to play that much together or practice because the middle schoolers did come up, but you can also tell that they really do like each other and that they do care for each other out in the court.
Gunner with a great slam dunk there. Double-hander.
Yeah, just great fast break hand dunk.
Sadly, there's no student section for the game. I bet you would have been able to hear them from all the way from Hancock County.
So one thing we like to call the Millers on the Sports Network here is there's Sarah Miller, that's just Miller, and then Anna Miller, Miller Light. Something that's been a running joke since, I believe it was Jacob and Matthew Miller. Just a running gag here, and it's just fun to have that brotherly or sisterly duo on these teams, as they are the definition of team chemistry because they live together. They just see each other every day, so they have that bond that it's very difficult to mimic with your teammates. You really look to have that like sisterly or brotherly connection with your teammates, but it can never be that authentic with like Anna and Sarah. Or with last year, Jackson Cruz.
Still not home free, but it's looking good here as we're up 11. Nice block there by Zane.
That's one thing that Lynam likes to pride himself on is his defense. So that's definitely going to make Lynam happy, that block by Zane Decker.
You know, something we really haven't talked about a lot here, but both teams are staying very well out of foul trouble. Only one for this
For
quarter
both teams.
For both teams. But I haven't really noticed anything about foul trouble the whole game.
Yeah, I think I noticed 3 fouls in the first half. I'm pretty sure. But
Which is
all
a
I
whole
know,
lot less compared to the other games we've been in. That Apollo game, I believe it went into the bonus in that one. Nice defense there by Gunner. There you go. There's Zane
swat by
back-to-back
Zane.
possessions where he's been a defensive anchor for this team.
Not to, like, talk bad about the Lady Cougars, but that's something that we could really use as that something we had in Bree Fraley, that defensive player that you could always rely on to make a stop. Something we look for in like Lanham or Reynolds, just to really have that defensive presence.
And I believe if Reynolds stays committed to the team, I feel like she can definitely be a force to be reckoned with, especially in the paint, as she already shows that she is, but potentially could be, a Gunner type build for the girls team.
Something I noticed from the Muhlenberg game is she plays very physical as a center, but sometimes she plays too physical, so she gets that foul trouble. And so that's both a good thing and a bad thing that she plays very physical.
Yeah, I think we're really going to see some big things from Danielle, especially next year being her senior season. She is a very quiet person in practices, and she doesn't talk that much, but she can get really aggressive down in the paint, and we really do need Danielle this season. And she did have a little injury. Her finger is a little messed up. It's a little purple and bruised, but she worked through that last night and overcame that, and she did some really good things last night for her game, getting some points. And so did Ava. Ava got a big block on Kennedy Lane last night, and she was doing some big things in the paint too. And we really trust in them doing some good things for us.
One good thing about this boys team is they really have numerous just big players. Just every forward with, just 3 key players who can play very good defense with Gunner, Zane, and even Brody. Brody's used to being a defensive presence as he plays, I believe, corner for the football team. So he's used to having to keep up with guys, and I'd like to think man defense is very similar to press defense in basketball. So he's really used to just the environment. And that, I can tell, comes in handy, that two-sport athlete.
So, Andrew, how many points do you say that Hancock had coming out of the half?
I believe they had 300 something, like total.
Not total. I'm talking about like
Oh, in the
game, yeah.
in the first half.
Yep.
Give me just a second. It was 22.
They've
We had
only
26.
been able to, with that, they've been able to score
10
points. So that's 5 in each half. A 10-point half is absolutely terrible.
But yeah, as the clock dwindles down here, I believe this will be your final score, 43-32, McLean County.
So there you go. I mean, a nice competitive game there to start, but I think whatever Eli Ellis was yelling at him in the locker room about definitely got through to him there, and they only allowed 10 points in the second half there. Rachel, we want to give a big thanks for you for coming out here and being on the show here.
Well, thank you for having me.
Definitely gives us a little bit of an insight on how things are going on with the team. So we had Zane on, and now we had you and Kennedy today. We're looking forward to having some more people on throughout the season. But I've been Nathan.
And I'm Andrew Stanley, and good night, McLean County.